You are not going to believe the royal circus that just unfolded. From a $14 jar of jam to an epic PR disaster, Meghan Markle is under fire once again. And this time, it's not just the tabloids who are talking. The lost prince is spiraling. Critics are calling her latest move pathetic. And the jam, oh the jam, it might be the most expensive mess yet. Stick around because we're unpacking it all, the scandal, the spin, and the royal reputation that may never recover.
Now, they say a picture paints 1,000 words, so what is the story behind that doorbell photo of Prince Harry knocking on doors looking for a friend? Meanwhile, the Princess of Wales was pictured full of the joys of spring as she takes side in a different famous family rift. And what do the photos of Harry and Meghan's date night with Beyoncé really tell us? I'm Matt Wilkinson, Royal Editor, and with me to discuss all of this and more is legendary royal photographer Arthur Edwards and news commentator Samara Gill. Right, guys, Arthur, you have possibly been behind some of the most iconic pictures of the royal family over the last 30, 40, 50 years. Have you ever seen anything quite so strange and bizarre of Prince Harry on a doorbell camera walking around knocking apparently randomly for friends in a street in West London?
I felt it was bizarre. I thought that, there's this Prince of the Realm, and Princes of the Realm never knock their own doors. They never open their own doors, and they never shut their own doors when they go places. And so there he was trying to find his friends. He must have a poor memory or not seen the friends for a long while, because he knocked 3 or 4 doors. And in fact, one housekeeper, one of the things said, she didn't even recognise him and said, no, they don't live here. But no, I think it was great. I think it was original. I've never seen it before, anything like that, a royal picture taken on a doorbell phone. No, it was bizarre. And but what was strange about that, Matt, was, of course, that was the day when he was in court trying to get the government to pay for his police protection when he comes here. And there he was wandering door to door, probably had his own personal security with him, but obviously, who could open that door? Anybody. But he obviously doesn't think like that. He just looking for the friend and couldn't remember the number. But it was a great picture.
Well, you're right. This was the same day, Samara, that he was in court in the High Court, and he's going to have to pay £1.5 million, by the way, after losing this case. This is a very lengthy, very expensive case to the taxpayer.
Yeah.
And he was in court that week, and his lawyers were arguing that his life was at stake in the UK. And then here we have one doorbell photo. We understand there's other CCTV of him in the street at other doors, at least 3 doors that he knocked on. What does this say about his behaviour or about his security case, do you think?
I mean, that photo was so revealing, and it basically shows that Harry is as erratic and unstable as a lot of us have been speculating. I mean, the fact that he's been pining for security and protection, but actually in the real world doesn't really care about it, shows a lot. I mean, there's another story that The Sun broke exclusively about a Deliveroo order that he put in when he was staying at a friend's house instead of Buckingham Palace, which was offered to him for his protection. It really shows that it's nothing about his safety and security, in my opinion, and it's all about his status anxiety that he has with William. He wants to be the same, he wants the same protection, and it's not really about anything to do with the kids, Meghan. It's just feeding into this paranoia that Harry has increasingly been showing, and he looks very, very sort of kind of displaced in that ring photograph that's come out. It looks like almost quite a desperate attempt to see friends, because clearly no one in his family wants to see him in the United Kingdom. So he's sort of almost, you couldn't make this up. He's going around knocking on doors, trying to find a connection that isn't there.
Prince Harry was recently spotted in what insiders are calling a meltdown moment. Eyewitnesses say he appeared visibly agitated, pacing outside a high-end LA restaurant after a private meeting turned sour.
I've never mentioned this before or spoke about it, but the Church Times is not exactly a magazine or a newspaper that we often talk about. But there was an extraordinary interview this week, and this was Canon Angela Tilby, and she used to preach to Harry at Eton. Might have been someone that you rubbed shoulders with back in the day, actually, Arthur. She was there when he was at school.
She's Church of England, I wouldn't have done, no.
And she's mentioned, she's written a sermon in the Church Times in which she's urged Harry to shed the role of victimhood. She's also said that Harry's actions have worsened his alienation from his family, and questioned his own claims he's forgiven Charles and the family over Megxit, saying it is clearly a qualified forgiveness. What do we think of these words from Canon Angela Tilby? Do they hit the nail on the head?
Well, I don't think the royals have got to apologise to Harry, quite honestly. I mean, Harry, they gave him their blessing when he went off to the United States. They said, that's what you want to do, Harry, fine. I mean, the Duke of Windsor, when he was exiled, he went off to live in the Bahamas, but he never, ever, ever said a bad word about the royal family. And Harry spent the first year of his life there just rubbishing the royal family. And I think he should be asking them for forgiveness, not demanding forgiveness from them. I think they did everything for him. I mean, the king walked his bride down the aisle. They gave him a wonderful wedding. They gave him a beautiful home at Frogmore House. They spent £2 million renovating it. He didn't want any of that. He went off to America and he made millions and millions of dollars just trashing the royals. And I think he should be on his knees to the king ask for forgiveness.
Samara, sorry, role of victimhood, is that something that Harry needs to shed?
And now for the most ridiculous PR stunt of the year. Meghan Markle's $14 jam, which Samara Gill just called a complete scam. It's marketed as this exclusive artisanal spread, but Samara says it's nothing more than a goopy, overpriced mess that barely resembles jam. And get this, Meghan is charging hundreds of dollars for a single jar and it's sold out in just 8 minutes. But what's the real story here? Is Meghan using her royal title to cash in on luxury products? Or is this just another desperate attempt to stay relevant?
Well, victimhood is a very California type of term that doesn't really exist in the royal family. And I think a lot of what's behind his rhetoric is Meghan. And a lot of people have been saying that and seeing that increasingly after he moved to Montecito. I mean, that whole BBC interview, which just made him look like a pompous brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled, really made a lot of people question who is in his head. Who is behind this? And so many of the woke terminology that he was using just spoke to me of Meghan. I really think she's behind this, and she feeds upon this victim complex that he already had, but she uses it in order to sort of keep the relationship. I mean, we saw on the Jamie Kern-Lima podcast that she went on, she said, Harry is my protector. He slayed the dragons to protect his family. I mean, who says that? Who are the dragons in this situation? It definitely was not the king and the royal family. All they did was try and protect that boy. And clearly, without their protection, he's falling apart.
Sources close to the couple suggest this emotional episode is linked to the mounting pressure of their failing brand deals and dwindling popularity in both the US and UK.
Well, let's talk about their relationship a little bit, because we did get a little kind of glimpse, maybe into it wasn't really behind the scenes, but these were the photos that we received from Harry and Meghan on a date night at a Beyonce gig. Harry in a hat, Meghan all over Harry for the pictures. They were cuddling, they were looking loved up. What do we think of these pictures? Is this a good glimpse inside their relationship, or was this staged for social media, guys?
I think Harry looked a bit stupid in that hat, quite honestly. If it was a cowboy theme, I think the Cowboys would be disappointed in him. But no, I think look, there's been a lot of talk that they're not getting on, that they're doing separate things, and I think maybe Meghan decided, I'm sure she decided, we're going to do some pictures like that, And I mean, if you didn't know the story behind the whole lot, you'd think they were lovely pictures. But I look at it and I thought it's all contrived. And it's a pity they don't show us pictures of their children that we all want to see. Why, can you see the backs of them? We never see them, and that's the pictures we want to see, not them again, kissing each other and holding hands and I just was so disappointed in Harry, I really am,
Well, there has been a lot of online speculation. We've also covered it in The Sun, the fact that professionally they have split and they're going their separate ways. Do you believe what we're seeing here on Meghan's Instagram, that it's just a happy, loved-up couple out on a date night, hugging, wearing a hat with it? I think it had tributes to their 2 children drawn inside the hat as well.
Like every piece
Clearly
of creepy,
contrived.
creepy clothing. I know Meghan's got the weird sort of turtleneck that she wears with the Archie and Lilibet on it. It's just strange. And I think, first of all, I mean, there's some interest. I don't know what Harry is trying to cover up with that hat. I don't know if it's male pattern baldness, but I think that whole thing was so contrived, as you said, Arthur. And I just think that Meghan is the biggest paparazzi in Harry's life. It didn't need to be all out there. But what I know is that she was trying to absolutely flood all the media channels with those photos to detract from the Ring camera photos. That is very obvious because she was posting all weekend. I mean, we didn't need to see them at the Beyonce concert. Harry wasn't even there for Archie's 6th birthday. There's clearly trouble in paradise, and she's trying to cover it up, and she thinks that we are stupid enough to fall for that crap. I mean, I'm not going to fall for a photo of her smiling with Harry and a video reel of them kissing. The facts speak for themselves.
Who took the pictures, Matt? I mean, did they take their own photographer with them?
Well, I'm assuming they did,
Well,
because
I mean,
some of them were
if that's the
professionally
case, you know, well, it is as Samara said, it's just contrived, and that'd be interesting to know who took them. It wasn't Byline. I never saw anywhere. I never saw anybody photographer's name on any of the pictures.
It may well be one of their team with a smartphone, because smartphones
probably,
are great these days.
yeah.
But it really has been a week of of contrasting pictures, as you just pointed out there. We've got the doorbell camera of Harry walking up and down the street, and then you've got this carefully curated set of Instagram photos.
Yeah.
On Meghan's Instagram page, she's, I think, beginning of January, or maybe January the 1st, she launched this Instagram page. Samara, you are all over social media. I know, TikTok and Instagram star. What do you make of her Instagram page so far? Is it a hit? Is it achieving what she wants, what her aims are for this page?
And how out of touch do you have to be to sell a jar of jam for $14 while your husband is out here wandering the streets looking lost? It's embarrassing and desperate. Meghan is selling anything and everything to keep the cash flowing, and it's making her look like a total joke. And here's where it gets even darker and more disturbing. Matt Wilkinson says Meghan isn't just using Harry for PR stunts. She's the biggest paparazzi in his life. Think about it. Every time Harry is caught looking lost or disheveled, Meghan is right there with a staged, happy family photo op to try and convince the world that everything is fine. From the Beyonce concert PDA to the jam launch, it's all part of Meghan's calculated PR machine, using Harry's public meltdowns to keep herself in the spotlight. But people are seeing through it, and it's starting to look desperate and manipulative.
I was looking at it the other day for something I was going to write, and it's just quite sad, to be honest. I actually do think that when I look at that page and I look at some of the pathetic photos that she puts out there, and she's trying to create this weird, cheapo image, in my opinion, it makes me think you left all of that. You left the iconic British royal family so that you could have an Instagram page and post a couple of photos of you picking lemons in an orchard. It really doesn't weigh up, but I think it is where Meghan is most comfortable. She wants to control the narrative. She wants to do it on her own terms. Obviously, she was doing it well before she met Harry with the TIG, and this is just sort of a weird rendition of that, using her titles and using anything she can to gain relevancy. But it is, it hasn't really achieved, I think, what she wanted it to achieve. I think she wanted it to achieve this rebrand for her. She wanted everyone to love her. She wanted to be the Gwyneth Paltrow style of influencer. But every time she posts something, it just doesn't quite hit the mark. It doesn't quite do what it needs to do or needs to achieve.
Some are calling it the Lost Prince syndrome, where Harry, once adored worldwide, seems caught between two identities and zero clear direction. So where do they go from here?
But this is the modern way, isn't it, Arthur? Is to to prevent other people taking pictures of you or using other pictures. You take your own picture. If you're a celebrity, you take your own pictures, you curate them carefully, and you put them out on social media. This is what celebrities do in your business.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they like to have them airbrushed, and they like to have them, made to look their very best. Well, Meghan. I mean, Meghan's a good-looking girl. She's and she knows it as well. And if she just wants to make us believe that everything in Montecito is great, and it's not. And about the Instagram page, she's only going to put what she wants to put. And quite honestly, I can't be bothered to looking at it. It was just
so boring.
Boring, yeah.
Do you think it's increasing or decreasing Harry and Meghan's popularity?
I think their popularity is in the cellar at the moment, quite honestly. I really do. I think as I said last time we did this show, Matt, if Harry had said in that BBC interview, "I'm sorry," we might start thinking there could be a reconciliation. But at the moment, all I'm seeing is him, as you said earlier, acting the victim. And quite honestly, the victim here isn't Harry and isn't Meghan. They're the people that have just abused their position that they had. And moment the late Queen died, they made their daughter a princess and their son a prince, and yet we never see these royal children. We never see their faces. We never see how they look. We just get what Meghan wants to give us and back views. And why is that? Because maybe she wants to monetize the pictures of the children at some stage, and she sees that as a big deal, And she's American, and that's the way they work in America. They think that's the next big deal, and perhaps she's got that worked out already.
I mentioned there about popularity. There was, just before we sat down, there was a YouGov poll that was released on royal family favourability. And obviously, they're not elected, they're not politicians, so we don't have elections to find out who is the most popular. So it's very hard to know.
Yeah.
But once again, William and Catherine remain Britain's favourite royals, closely followed by the King.
Yeah.
The King, 6 in 10 have a positive opinion of King Charles. But William and Catherine were way ahead. But the interesting thing is the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, her favourability was just 20%. This is the lowest level since she arrived on the scene when YouGov first did the polls in 2017. So the Instagram curated images, as ever, jam, doesn't seem to be working, Samara.
No, I think one of the greatest pull factors of the royal family is the mystery behind it all. The fact that people don't know a lot of what goes on behind closed doors. And that's where Meghan's got it all wrong, because she's broadcast her entire life out to us, and we've actually judged it. And we've said that's kind of bland and boring and actually quite sad, to be honest, especially when we saw that photo of Harry this week, but also we've seen so many other sort of disastrous platitudes that are very empty on her podcast. We've seen the real her, and we don't like it. Sometimes it's better to just kind of be a little bit more private. But privacy is not in her vocabulary. It's not something that she's very familiar with, and I think that's actually been her problem.
Rumors swirl about new podcast deals, another docuseries, even a return to royal duties, though Buckingham Palace has remained silent. Love them or hate them, Meghan and Harry know how to keep the cameras rolling. But at what cost? What do you think? Is this just media madness, or is there real fire behind the smoke? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoy breaking down royal drama and media madness, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more tea coming your way. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay smart, stay skeptical, and keep questioning the narrative.